Shalom uvracha to everybody. This week we are concluding the first book of the 5 books of Moses, and this is Chumash Bereshit, as it's called Sefer Hayashar. This is the all Chumash learning about Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and completing with Yosef. And next week we're starting a new Sefer, the Sefer Shemot. And as we always say when we conclude the Sefer, Chazak, Chazak, V'nit Chazek, Semetz Hashem, we should have Chazak, Chazak, from strength to strength. Just one short idea regarding this week's Parsha. The Parsha of the week is called Vayechi, and the Parsha tells us that Vayechi Yaakov be'eretz Mitzrayim, Yaakov lived in Mitzrayim. And as the famous statement of the Baal HaTurim, what does it mean he lived in Mitzrayim? We know that he lived in Mitzrayim. We learned already last week's Parsha that Yaakov lived in Mitzrayim. So the Baal HaTurim tells us the best years of Yaakov was in Mitzrayim. Vayechi means not just he lived, he was really alive. And simply the idea because he was together with his son Yosef, so that was his best years of his life. And this comes the famous story, as we know the story, with Tzemach Tzedek, the grandson of the Baal HaTanya, the 3rd Rebbe of Chabad. And when he was a child, his Rebbe taught him this idea. The Vayechi Yaakov be'eretz Mitzrayim means that the most beautiful years of Yaakov was in Mitzrayim. And he was disturbed about it. And he went to his grandfather after school and he asked him, Zayden, there was the Alter Rebbe, the 1st Rebbe of Chabad. He told him, how is it possible Yaakov Avinu, such a great tzaddik, his best year should be Mitzrayim? Mitzrayim, we know, Ervat Haaretz is the worst place in the world. In a spiritual level, at least, the worst in the world. And this should be the best life of Yaakov. When he was in Israel, it's not so good. When he was everywhere else, and here, the worst place in the world. As the Torah says that this is the lowest of the lowest, and there Yaakov had his best years of his life. This is the question the little child asked his grandfather. When his grandfather answered him, yes, I was. And how could it be the best place? Is because he sent Yehuda to build a yeshiva in Mitzrayim. Answers the question, but it is a lot of elaboration, the question, but I'm just going to get into one point, not to the whole idea. And the idea is, why was it that Yaakov's best life was in Mitzrayim? Because yes, it's the lowest of the lowest. But if you're able to take the lowest of the lowest and turn it to the best of the best, that's the greatest beautiful life. And that was the beauty of Yaakov in Mitzrayim. He came to join Yosef in his mission. What was the mission of Yosef being in Mitzrayim? The lowest of the lowest. And it turned it around to be a place, a dwelling place for Hashem. A place full of Torah, a place full of Yeshiva, a place full of Kedusha, a place for Am Yisrael. And as much as they accomplished, the main accomplishment was when Am Yisrael went out of Mitzrayim, as we learned, that took out all the wealth in a physical level and in a spiritual level. A complete turnaround from the lowest to the highest. And this is the message that Yiteron Na'or mitoch hachoshech. When is the lowest darkness, when you change this into light, that's the greatest light. And this is why Yaakov Avinu, his greatest times was in Mitzrayim. Not because Mitzrayim was so great, very far from great, but on the contrary, yes, it was very far, but being in a place like this and you turn this around to Kedusha, that's the greatest level. But how do you make sure to succeed? This is what the grandfather tells his grandson. How do you make sure to succeed? Not only to succeed, to be in the fullest measure of success of Vayechi in such a place of Mitzrayim. You have to open up the yeshiva first. You have to begin with Torah. We have to begin with Kedusha. And when you begin with that, then you prevail in Mitzrayim. Then Mitzrayim turns around to be the greatest place for Yaakov to be alive. And this is the message being given to us. When we are in the depth of Galus, in the lowest of Galus, in the darkness of Galus, it sounds very dark, and it is very dark. But Yaakov teaches us in this parsha, when you take this darkness of Galus and you turn it to light, when you take people that have so far, or you bring them back to Hashem, then becomes the real Vayechi, the real life, the real beauty. And this is why we're saying that the last generation before Mashiach, yes, it's very dark, but we, and only we're going to bring the redemption. Because in the darkness of this world, we're able to bring the greatest light. Because in this darkness of the world, we change it, that it becomes a beautiful luminary. And this is what we have to learn, a message from this parsha. Yes, Mashiach is coming any minute. We're going out of Mitzrayim. But while these minutes and seconds we are in Mitzrayim, we have to know if we're going to work. And we're going to turn around the darkness of Mitzrayim to light. It's going to be the real Vayechi, the real life. And the real life is the life with Mashiach Tzidkenu. Have yourself a good Shabbos.